Hey everybody, we are out on a hot, sunny, breezy 35-degree day. We've been fighting winter weather here, and I apologize for the wind noise. I can't wait any longer. I'll explain that in a second. So I'm gonna have to film now. We had another winter storm after the St. Mary's Wilderness ride that me and Bimble went and did, and that snow has melted. But we're getting more tomorrow, and so it is cold and windy today, and we're getting ready to get hit again. So I figured I'd film something real quick before I have to bundle Bimble back up and put him away. What we're going to talk about today is the little accessories and upgrades and things I've done to the bike in the past couple of months that I haven't really talked about. I might have mentioned them and pointed them out or something like that. Yeah, I put this on it, move on. But I haven't really gone into detail about them. So we'll talk a little bit about that stuff and why I did it and what my thought process is behind that. So let's just start from the front and work our way back and see what I've done. All right, so the first thing I've done that we'll talk about is this Halcyon 850 mirror that I put on the bike. And as I said in the St. Mary's video, I didn't do that because I wanted a new mirror or anything like that. I had an ulterior motive for doing that. And the deal is, these handlebars are kind of a beach cruiser style handlebar, and the levers and controls and the mirror mounts and everything are kind of like an off-the-shelf universal type things that Janus just buys and puts on their bikes. And pretty much all companies do that, so you can't really fault them. The problem that I came across, I actually mentioned this in my nitpicking video where I said the ergonomics were weird with the handlebars, and I was kind of racking my brain trying to figure out what was causing this weird riding position that I was in. And it finally dawned on me what it was. You can't rotate your levers around for this type of bar to put them in an ergonomic position because of the mirrors. Those perch mirrors that screw in that are on stock, if you do that, it makes the mirrors come out at a forward angle and it just looks goofy. And so you don't want to do that. So you end up having your levers in a non-optimal position. So I thought about it, and I had an extra set of these, the mirror perch. You can buy them pretty cheaply off Amazon. And I had a set of 10 millimeter perches that I had bought because the stock ones are 8 millimeters. And if you want to change to like Honda mirrors, you need to have 10 millimeter. So I had already purchased a set, and they came with a blank back. And so what I did was I drilled the threads out of the back side of it and placed them on the front. So now it's clean and they're just blanked off and there's no mirror perch. And so I went with a handlebar mounted mirror so I could get the mirrors away from the levers. So separating the mirrors from the levers, I was able to move everything around now. Now the ergonomics are fine. I can just reach out, put my hands on the bars. They're here. That's what was causing me to say I felt like I was reaching for the bars and then turning my hands out like this. It was because the levers were too high. And you couldn't really adjust them down far enough because it would make the mirrors look weird and just funky. And I had rode around with them with those stainless steel mirrors that I had from the Honda Super Cub on this, and they just looked weird. I just never liked them and never gelled with them. They just looked odd. And then it dawned on me that that's why the levers weren't positioned in the right spot. So now the levers are good, mirror's cool. And like I said, that's probably the oldest motorcycle accessory you can buy, because Stadium originally made these mirrors back in the 1950s and 60s, about the time the mods and rockers were a thing. And that was probably like one of the only things that they could agree on was those were good ass mirrors because they both used them. Stadium has just come back into making mirrors, but they're only doing the bar ends, which is what I have on the Continental GT. And kind of like the stock mirrors, like I was talking about that, you know, they're kind of incompatible with this bar in the same manner a bar end mirror would be. You know, you don't want to put bar end mirrors on something like this. You probably don't want to put stock mirrors on something like this either. Stalk mirrors, put it that way. So I think a handlebar mirror is the way to go on this, and so far it's fine. I went with just a single, just for gets and shiggles. We'll see if I add another one later down the road or whatever. So far, sticking with one, Halcyon 850 handlebar mirror. All right, so next up is the Wideline seat. Now this seat is a little bit wider where it meets the tank and in the seating position, and a little bit longer. It's about an inch longer than the stock seat. So the stock seat only came to about here. This one's a little bit longer, so I got a little more room this way. And they're going to offer lighter springs for these. They're in the talking phase about making different spring rates available for these seats and for the forks actually too. Because I like the seat. It's way more comfortable. It addressed all the issues I had with the stock seat. But the problem I have with it now is with the added padding in this seat, it's higher in the back, and I kind of slide forward a little bit all the time. So I'm constantly, scooting back on the seat because I keep sliding forward. And so I think putting a little bit lighter spring in there, once they offer those, I might do that to kind of level the seat out a little better, just under general riding. And that sliding this leather is kind of slick. This is like a saddle leather, it really is what this is. And they've discontinued this color and the redwood color. And I think the reason they actually did that, I could be mistaken, but in my mind they did it because of how slick it is, because saddle leather is kind of slick. And so with the new colors that they have, if you look at them, the brown is it's not a suede, but it's a more hairy texture than this smooth texture. And the red and the black is more of it's not quite a pebble texture, but it's pebble-ish texture on it. So I think they did that for, kind of grip. I think they were kind of addressing how slick these seats really are. So I still like mine. I think I'm not going to change the colors or anything like that, because I like the look of the saddle leather. And I think just changing the spring rate would actually address that, a little bit of sliding issue that I'm having. And like I said, they're talking about adding lighter fork springs as well. And the fork springs I don't think they're too heavy or too light, really. I think they're good. The problem is with the seating position being so far rearward biased, it makes the front feel stiffer than it really is. And so I think having that light weight on the front kind of makes the springs feel a little bit stiffer than they should be. Who knows? We'll see when they come out with those. I might change those, might not. I'll probably definitely change these if they introduce a little bit of a lighter set. So other than that, I like the seat. Pretty cool. Oh. All right, next up is the Fishtail exhaust tip. I think this is the only thing I've actually done to the bike that's purely cosmetic. I only did it for cosmetic reasons. And this bike came with the MotoCult performance pipe on it, and it's a pea shooter. And I like pea shooter exhaust. I think they look great on Triumphs, Royal Enfields. I think they look really good. But those bikes are more retro styled for like the 1960s era. And I think that fits on those bikes. This bike is like a couple of generations older as far as retro-y styling goes. And so I thought it looked kind of weird on this bike. Because to me, this bike looks like a post-board track racer bike. Post-board track pre-World War II is kind of what this looks like to me. The 450 is a little beefier, and it looks like something like just post-World War II. During and after World War II, that kind of, they kind of look like they're separated by a decade or so. So I thought the Fishtail would look, more look the part on it. Like I said, it's just purely cosmetic. And I don't advocate for or against either the MotoCult version like I have or the Janus version. It's just what look you want. It's just, like I said, it's purely a cosmetic thing. It doesn't really change the sound of the bike. But I don't know if it's due to these perforations or not, but I do get a little more reverberation noise coming from the right when I pass a parked car or a guardrail or something. I can hear more of the bike reflected back at me. You wouldn't think that this small amount of perforations would do that. And I don't know for sure if that's what's causing it or not. It's not annoying or anything bad, it's just I notice it. All right, so last thing we got to talk about is these bags. This is the stock saddlebag, and these are the LongRide Super Patriot bags. And they mount pretty much the same way as these. They just have buckles across the top that mount to this piece of subframe right here. The interesting part about this is these bags don't flop around and things. You know, there's a little bit of play there, but there's no straps or anything to secure the bottom of the bag. What they've done is they've added a small hook to the rear dropouts. And this little spring-loaded ring right here hooks into that clip, and so the spring keeps the bag secure to the bike to keep it from flopping around. And I've actually done the same thing with these. If I can get a hold of it here from the backside. I just got on Amazon and bought stainless steel key rings and a stainless steel spring and mounted it to the backside of the saddleback mounting system on the LongRide bags. And now they just hook up and mount the same way, and that spring keeps the bags in place. That was just my little idea I came up with, trying to mimic what Janus had done. And these, I like these bags for just everyday use because they're convenient. It's if you've got two empty hands, it's easy to get in and out of this bag, where with this one, you got to undo buckles, unroll the top of the bag, and then unzip it to get into the bag. And it's kind of a pain for everyday use. So I prefer things like this, or even the Racer SK bags that I have on the GT for everyday use. But these are my more travel and camping bags and things like that, because these are 30 liters each, which makes them larger than like the panniers on a Himalayan. These may be 12, 15 liters maybe on these. So these are about double those as far as what they hold. I just thought I'd throw these on there to show you guys and let you check them out and see what I've done. That's about all I've really got planned to do to the bike too. I don't have any other accessories and things that I'm going to buy. I just want to give you guys a look at some of the things you're gonna see in the future, or things that I've pointed out and haven't really elaborated on. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section. I'm gonna hunker down for this weather we got coming in. Catch you next time.